Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today we are diving headfirst into a really fascinating dispatch from a super dedicated fishkeeper named Ang. This is from July 11th, 2026, part 286 of their Notes on Fishkeeping, actually. And wow, it is just a brilliant look into a hobby that is, well, equal parts incredibly beautiful and completely heartbreaking. You know, if you've ever poured your absolute heart and soul into a passion project, you know for sure that it rarely goes exactly according to plan. So today we're going to explore exactly how Ang navigated both the inherent heartbreak and the honestly undeniable economics of the aquarium hobby, and how a pretty devastating setback actually led to the discovery of a truly spectacular underwater gem. Let's get into it. It's the ultimate question, right? The one that literally haunts every single hobbyist out there. What happens when your aquarium investments simply don't survive? I mean, anyone who has ever tried to breed or even just maintain delicate pets knows exactly the emotional and financial sting I'm talking about here. You meticulously balance those water parameters, you invest in all the top-tier equipment, and you buy these gorgeous, fragile creatures, only to wake up to unexpected losses. It is a harsh reality. And unfortunately, it's exactly where Ang's story begins today. You pour all your resources into these living investments, and sometimes, despite your absolute best efforts, they just don't make it. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the Dwarf Cichlid Challenge. So to give you some context, Ang had just embarked on this really grueling 8-month journey with 3 starting pairs of apistogramma, which are commonly known in the hobby as dwarf cichlids. Now, these are magnificent fish, absolutely stunning, but keeping them, yeah, it is not for the faint of heart. To really grasp the stakes here, we have to look at that initial investment, 8 whole months, 3 starting pairs. We are talking about nearly a year of daily monitoring, feeding, and doing all that tedious tank maintenance. Plus, apistogrammas are known for being pretty darn expensive. So Ang wasn't just investing time and emotional energy here, they were pouring significant, hard-earned cash into carefully curating these 3 specific pairs. And then this happens. Out of those 3 initial, highly expensive pairs of dwarf cichlids, only 1 single pair actually survived the 8 months. Ang lost 2 entire pairs. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. 1. It is profoundly frustrating, right? Doing everything perfectly right for the better part of a year, only to be left with just a fraction of what you started with. Honestly, it's the exact kind of heartbreak that might make your average hobbyist completely drain their tanks and just walk away from the whole shebang. But thankfully, that is not what happened. Section 2. Enter the Kribensis solution. Instead of giving up, Ang pivoted and asked a really crucial question. What's the alternative to these expensive, delicate apistogrammas? If you still want all that vibrant, buzzing life of a cichlid tank, but without that devastating financial risk constantly hanging over your head, where do you turn? Well, Ang found an answer, and it completely flipped the script on their aquarium setup. The answer cost exactly this much, 8 Malaysian ringgit. Yep, that is around 8 MYR per fish. Now, compare that to the incredibly steep cost of replacing those lost apistogramma pairs. This number packs a serious punch, guys. It represents incredible affordability and, frankly, some massive immediate financial relief. Ang found a species that was accessible, super budget-friendly, and, most importantly, allowed them to continue their passion for fish keeping without totally breaking the bank. So, allow me to introduce the ultimate solution to Ang's fish-keeping dilemma: pelvicachromis-pulcher. That's the scientific name for what we commonly call the Kribensis Cichlid. By bringing the Kribensis into their aquarium, Ang found this fantastic, highly affordable alternative to dive into. And hey, do not let that low price tag fool you for a second. What these fish might lack in cost, they absolutely make up for in pure, stunning beauty. Which brings us to our next point. Section 3, rainbow hues and ocelli. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the striking visual showdown we're looking at here. Shifting from economics over to pure aesthetics, we see a massive contrast. On one side, you have the original apistogramma, famous across the hobby for their bold, vibrant colors and those really distinctive stripes. No doubt, they are undeniably beautiful. But then look over on the other side at the Kribensis Cichlid. Instead of just stripes, the Kribensis boasts this phenomenal rainbow coloration. They also feature these distinct dark spots and wildly colorful bellies. It's just a completely different, but honestly equally mesmerizing visual experience for any tank. I mean,
Just listen to the gorgeous sensory language Ong uses in their notes to describe this new addition. They point out that the Kribensis features intense magenta or deep red bellies. And you know what's particularly fascinating about this? This brilliant, vivid pop of color is actually especially prominent on the females. In a whole lot of animal species, the males get all the flashy show-off colors, right? But here, the female Kribensis absolutely steals the show with this incredibly rich rainbow palette that just completely transforms the entire vibe of the aquarium.
Now, Ang's notes also highlight another really specific visual trait that we should definitely break down for a second. They mention ocelli. So what are they? Ocelli are basically these beautiful, dark, eye-like spots. And on the Kribensis Cichlid specifically, these striking little spots are located right there on their caudal fins, basically their tail fins. So just picture this. You have this awesome fish swimming around with a bright magenta belly, shimmering rainbow scales, and these distinct, eye-catching dark spots trailing right behind them. It is quite literally visually stunning.
All right, let's look ahead. Section 4, Future Plans and Breeding.
Now, even after a full month of settling in, these newcomers are still relatively shy compared to those outgoing apistogrammas. Because of that, Ang mapped out a highly structured 3-step approach to help them truly thrive. Step 1. Continue to acclimate these shy fish, just giving them the peace and time they need to feel safe. Step 2 is all about careful observation to identify which of the fish have naturally formed bonded pairs, which, as any breeder knows, is an absolutely crucial step for what comes next. And finally, Step 3, setting up specific breeding grounds tailored directly for those identified pairs. It's a really patient, methodical plan designed to turn a tank full of shy newcomers into a bustling, thriving breeding ecosystem.
And Ang actually wraps up part 286 of their notes with this simple, really optimistic sign-off. Let's see how this goes in the coming weeks. I love that. It is the perfect capstone to this whole narrative arc. We started way back with the intense frustration and heartbreak of losing expensive fish. We moved through the awesome discovery of a brilliant, affordable alternative, and now we arrive at a place of totally hopeful anticipation. The heartbreak is behind them, and the pure excitement of a brand new aquarium project has completely taken over.
So, it leaves us with this big, lingering mystery. Will Ang successfully identify those bonded pairs and manage to breed the beautiful but currently very shy Kribensis Cichlids? Honestly, only time and future dispatches from Ang's fish room will tell. But it leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. In a hobby that is so often driven by the relentless pursuit of rare, incredibly expensive species, are we totally overlooking the resilient, vibrant gems hiding right there in the budget tanks? Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.